Hi, my name is Mike and this is Kickin' Ass Minis. In this week's video, we're going to paint some terrain. It's from the great folks over at Dungeons and Lasers. Now they were nice enough to send me a sample piece from their Kickstarter. Unfortunately the Kickstarter is already over, but you can still order it online. And here we've still got the sample piece on the sprue. Now as you can see, this has actually got two different styles on it. We've got both the dungeon terrain and the sci-fi. That's the great thing about this stuff, is it's really versatile. But we need to get it off the sprue and get it cleaned up. Alright, using an X-Acto knife or some other sharp object that you're safe in using, go ahead and clean up those little pieces where it was attached to the sprue. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab an emery board or some sandpaper and smooth those out, make them nice and flat. And whenever sanding, I like to clean stuff up with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Grab a soft cloth or a towel that isn't going to produce any lint. Time for some Vallejo surface primer. Now I like using the USN Light Ghost Gray. It's actually going to come out really smooth and provide a nice even coverage. Now the great thing about this stuff is I only have to put down one coat. You don't have to have a clean even coat all the way across, just so long as you've got something for the paint to stick to. Time to try out a Citadel air paint. Now this is the Terminated Stone. I've actually never used the Citadel air paints before, so let's see how this works. It's pretty thin. Looks like I'm probably going to need to have a couple of coats to get this to go all the way through. There we go. Now on to the set of stones. Let's go ahead and start with Carrick Stone. Now this is from the Citadel Scenery line. And they sell this as a kit where you can get a more opaque paint, a little bit thicker, designed to go on in one coat. Maybe I'll leave this little section in the middle. No, probably not. Alright, time to get some Vallejo Game Color Stonewall Gray in the mix. Now we're going to use this to pick out some of the stones, and make sure and mix it up a little bit. You don't want everything to be uniformed. Now the variety of stones is actually something that I picked up from a great guy over at Black Magic Craft. Time for a little bit of Reaper Master Series Paint Bone Shadow. Now when I put this on, it was actually a little bit thin. I had to put a couple of different coats on to get it to look good. Time to break out some Polyscale US Desert Storm Sand. Now this isn't quite the same color as the base color, so it'll stand up. throw a little Vallejo Game Color Somber Gray in the mix. Get a few more of those stones. Make it random. Now, using the same colors as last time, we're going to use the Somber Gray and we're going to mix it with some Vallejo Model Color Black Green. Now, I wanted to add a little bit of green tone to this to kind of give a little variety. We've got some pale colors, we've got some blues, we've got some tans, we've got some greens now. And now it's time for a little Vallejo Model Color Flat Brown. I'm going to use this on the wood area. I like how thin it looks here. It's kind of a nice earthy color. By the time I get over to the other end though, I've got it on a little bit thicker, so it looks like I'm going to probably have to add a little bit more paint on these to get them a little more uniform looking. Now for the other wood, we're going to use Vallejo Game Color Beastie Brown. Now when I first saw this terrain, I wasn't quite sure what this was. I thought maybe it was a door, but as I started to inspect it a little bit more, it's kind of shaped like a coffin and it has manacle holders on it. I think it's a torture rack. Oops, looks like I forgot to add a little bit of paint here. Hold on just a second. Get that wood all filled in. Realizing now that maybe a third coat in some of these areas is a good idea. There, that looks better. Time to mix things up again. We're going to be using Vallejo Model Color Natural Steel mixed with 1 part of Reaper MSP Adamantium Black. Now I went with a mix of these two because I wanted a dark steel color, but I wasn't going to get one just using either one of these by itself. Twitter the other day, and a local artist that I follow by the name of Tyler Walpole made a very good comment that I think it really implies here. Why does it take 80% of the time to complete the last 20% of the work? Doing these little tiny pieces really takes a while. If I'm going to keep doing little tiny pieces like this, I may have to invest in some of those magnifying glasses. My eyes aren't quite what they used to be. So many little pieces. And through the magic of YouTube, it's done! Last step is going to be putting on some Army Painter strong tone over the whole thing. A nice generous coat. Thank you so much for taking the time to go through this process with me. It was a really big challenge for me to go through and paint the little individual pieces, and it was very, very time consuming. I can't imagine having a dungeon, a massive dungeon to paint like this. It makes sense why a lot of people just go with a solid color scheme or just a single color with a highlight or a dry brush. I think one of the biggest things that I learned out of this week's video was a lot about just making a video. I hadn't done anything as far as the production before of recording myself as far as the painting goes, so this was really a big learning experience. And if you enjoyed it, please let me know. Or if you prefer the format of where I just go over the individual steps and show the paints, let me know as well in the comments below. I'm also going to include a link to the Kickstarter that they are still taking late Kickstarter pledges, I believe, for the Dungeons and Lasers. They didn't send me this piece for this purpose for review or anything like that. I actually put in a request when the Kickstarter was live to get a sample piece, and I'm glad that I did. If you like what I'm doing and you want to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, keep kicking ass and painting minis.